Yo, what's up, guys? It's your boy Gajay here, bringing y'all back another video. Just got done watching the Onyx Equinox, and I've been looking forward to this anime since Crunchyroll said they're going to make it. And I don't know why, I just love Latin American culture. My dad's from Panama, so it's a little bit in my blood. I know I'm a little dark, but my dad's from Panama, so Latin Americans in my blood as well as African Americans. So I love when it talks about those two cultures because I like to see what they're going to do. But before we get into the review, hit the like button. We're doing a giveaway, so you're going to want to hit that subscribe button to enter a chance to win some free money. So with that being said, let's get into this episode review, guys. Let's see what it's talking about. So the episode starts with peace in the village, and there's people shopping, kids playing, people laughing. Then it goes to who I think is going to be one of the main characters, Zanyanya. She is training with a comrade, and hey, she makes it look like cake, baby. Gets him in that little arm bar, easy. So they're doing that, and then all of a sudden this horn sounds, and as that's horn sounding, the sky starts to turn red. So that horn sounding was signifying danger. And there's this guy that just comes out of nowhere, runs out and says, "The recent sacrifice wasn't enough. The guards are angry," and the ground starts to crack. So Zanyanya immediately books it from her comrades and runs to her parents. And by the time she gets there, they're already fighting with some slime tentacle creature that's coming out of the ground. Her parents tell her to run as they are being swallowed, and her mom tells her to run to the old stone because it will protect her. So her parents get swallowed up and she books it. And this thing is booking it after her. So it cuts to the priest, like, sitting on top of the temple, just like wondering what the heck just happened. I know we did the sacrifice correctly, what happened? But he offers his own blood, begging the gods to protect him. So with that, his blood kind of like balls up and spreads into two different directions. One goes into the sky, the other one hits to the ground, summoning two gods. And they start destroying the creatures as well as the town at the same time. And it cuts back to Sanyanya running for her life as the slime chases her down. She gets to the old rock, and when the slime reaches to grab her, it misses the area where the rock's in, kind of burns his hand. So he reaches out again, grabs her, and as he's grabbing her, she's holding on, and she breaks a piece of the rock off. And when it tries to eat her, she stabs it, and her dad comes flying out. And her mom tries to get out too, but it was too late for her, and she gets swallowed back up. So after that, because of the fighting the other gods are doing, destroying the other slime creatures, the ground underneath them gives way. And her dad and the monster as a falling, her dad grabs the dagger, or the broken piece of the old stone, and hits the slime creature with it. And his mom shows up, but the slime creature ends up breaking his arm and swallowing him again. And it cuts back to the city where many creatures are centered around this well. And the creatures like kind of halfway unleash or halfway let go of the humans they absorb and start slitting their throats. And they summon the god of the dead, Miklanchukuli. I said it all wrong. So I'm just going to call him the god of the dead. He takes one of the other gods, the butt-looking god Zu, and rips him in half, drinking his blood. And the other god, the wind god, Kosidro, I think that's how you pronounce it, is just runs. It's like, oh, they ain't paid me enough for this. He just goes. So it cuts to Zanyanya just staring at the gods in disbelief, like what just happened. As the survivors of that are just running around scared, and a god takes over or possesses a little boy, and he walks into a hut with other gods, and they start discussing the problem they were having with there's not enough blood to go around for the upper level gods and the underworld gods, and the destruction of Doniban is an act of war. So they discuss possible solutions, with the final solution being to close all the 5 gates to the underworld, therefore saving the human race and creating balance. But the guy that possessed the little boy doesn't agree. And he just like, that won't bring balance. But one of the older gods said, well, it's about survival now. So he ultimately said, okay, if we're going to close the 5 gates, I might as well do it. But the other gods are hesitant because his brother, the god that possessed the little boy, his brother is trapped in the underworld. Not trapped, but he's an underworld god, I guess. And they're kind of hesitant. But he assures them that they didn't have nothing to be hesitant with. And with that, they know that the blood drought's going to be over. That yada, yada, yada. So, finishing what the Olmecs started. So for anyone who don't know what the Olmecs are, here's a little breakdown. Just like a 4 or 5 second breakdown. The Olmecs were the earliest known major Mesoamerican civilization. Following a progressive development in the Soconusco, they occupied the tropical lowlands of modern Mexico, states of Veracruz and Tabasco. It has been speculated that the Olmecs derive in part from the neighboring Mocoya and Mizizoque cultures. They are trying to, so that's who the Olmecs are. So with that being said, let's get back to the anime, guys. So they are trying to keep balance, like I said before, but yeah, we already went through all this, and yeah, they try to keep balance. The other boy doesn't agree because there's no balance if one side's always tilting in the battle's always tilting in their favor. There has to be balance. But the other guys don't agree, but they leave it up to him. So he goes to the devices that the Olmecs make, because they're finishing what the Olmecs started, closing all the 5 gates. But the obsidian that the gates or these devices are made of are god repellents. So that god makes a bet with the god he was arguing with in the anime. So I think the little boy god's name is Quetzalcoatl. I'm just gonna call him K, and that he's gonna get the most pathetic human to close the gate, and if he wins, I'm just gonna call the other god's name Tez. He gets Ted's blood sacrifices, ultimately killing Tez, and vice versa. If he shall lose, Tez gets his blood sacrifices, killing him. They agree, and they get Tez's most loyal emissary Yaddle to guide the most pathetic human, who's gonna be the champion. So it cuts to who the most pathetic human is going to be, Izel's. And Izel, I thought was his father at first, but I guess he's just like an employer. Yelling at him to get together. Him and his sister take their goods to the market to sell. So at the market, they run into some of the refugees from Doniban. And they are, you know how refugees are. They just recently lost everything. They have no money. They have no way to get food. And they're asking. And a lot of people aren't being understanding to them, knowing that they just lost everything for something that they had nothing to do with. But Izel gave them food and said they were different, but they're not even from there. They're from another city. So, but their sister Nellie, Izel's sister Nellie, hopes that they will make it their home like they have made it theirs. So, and there's an emergency council meeting about the massive upturn, or about basically what happened with the gods quarreling. And I guess the leader of the council, the emergency council, tells them that there needs to be a sacrifice. So on the way home, Izel gets beat up because he helped foreigners. And I'm like, so what? He helped? In my head, I'm like, so what? He helped and they need help, but he gets beat up because they didn't want it. So he comes home and Nellie just asks worry about him. What happened to you? What happened to you? He tells him, he tells him, and she just comforts him, and they have a good night cooking, talking, drinking, and he was worried about the sacrifice. Basically, he thought they was going to sacrifice her because that's what the boys who beat him up told her. And she just basically told him not to worry. When they say that, I already knew something bad was about to happen. So, Nellie lays her brother down, and then the man comes and get her away. And her brother tries to take them. Her brother tries to stop them, but Nellie turns around and stops him by saying, just be brave, everything's going to be okay. So it cuts to back to the emergency council about there being a sacrifice. The employer, put up Izel at first. I don't know. I'm going to call him Izel for now until I figure out how to pronounce his name. Izel. But Nellie was like, no, that's my little brother. I'll do it. and she took his place, and she begged the employer to take care of Izel. So Izel picks up a broken part of a stone and runs to the temple. In the temple, shit, I done lost my fucking words. In the temple, he sits there begging for the gods. He's begging for the gods to help him. Like, please, don't let them take my sister. If you need blood, here's blood. And he starts to cut his hand, but he gets scared and he doesn't do it. And at the same time, they're cleaning his sister up for the ritual, cleaning her up, painting her face, getting her dressed. But as the sun starts to rise, as he's still there, he runs to the sacrifice spot. He drops this broken stone and runs to the sacrifice spot and tries to stop them from sacrificing his sister. His sister turns around and tells him it's going to be okay. And she's saying stuff to him, and she can't even finish the sentence out and the priest slit her throat. That was sad, dude. To have your sister who took care of you for so long just to die in front of your face, knowing that should have been you, that's rough. That's rough to take. So he was there all day, basically, all day and night, just kneeling over the little spot his sister's blood was in, because she fell down into, I take it, a big well, because there's water underneath there, and he just not dives over, but just kind of like falls over into it, and he's just there. He just falls into the water and he's just sinking. He has, from the look of it, he has lost all care in this world. He doesn't care. He just wants to go with his sister. He wants to die with her too. So as he's sinking, he hits his head and there's blood. So a god, I'm taking it as a god, was coming up to grab him and take the blood. But Yaddle says his emissary, most loyal emissary, came and saved him, calling him Humanities champion and looking down on him, and basically said, Humanities fucked. Yo. So that was the first episode, guys. I highly enjoyed it. This is probably one of a very few anime that I could watch in English. So I enjoyed every bit of it, to be honest. And man, it got me hooked from episode 1. I want to see how this journey plays out, because I know it's going to be way different from Japanese anime, because it's a whole different culture. So I want to know how their take on a main character's journey, how it goes, versus what we know about, ancient land in America. Which, with that just reminds me, I need to go brush up on my Latin American history. But guys, that was Onyx Equinox, episode 1, the last day. That was a review. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. I know I stuttered a couple times over my words. I'm sorry. I don't have a fancy editor like everybody else, but I do me. I like this. It gives me the most. Y'all get to see me. Y'all get to see me, all the mess ups and everything. So no edits. Y'all get to see everything in real time. So I enjoy doing it this way. But we're doing a 100 subscriber giveaway. Once we get to 100 subscribers, there will be a giveaway. So just keep that in mind. But this has been Gaijin vs. Gaijin Retreat, guys, and I'm out.